I don't want Republicans to win, okay? I don't want Republicans to win. But I also don't want Democrats to turn into Republicans. It's nutty, man. It's out of control. It's out of control. If only there was someone who was calling this out in the month of August in 2024.
Crazy. And Donald Trump is talking about Eisenhower. He's talking about a word I can't say because it's a slur in the aftermath of the Reserve program, where we deported 1.3 million Mexicans from this country, including Mexican Americans, as a matter of fact. Not just people from, not people whose nation of origin is Mexico. We did that. We did that during World War I. We did that in the aftermath of World War II. And Donald Trump's touting that as a popular policy. And it's got like 60% approval right now. And a big part of the reason is because there's no counter messaging against that from the Democratic front. They have completely been captured by the right-wing framing on the matter. And obviously, it's very racist, very fascist. I mean, it's just like straight Nazi Germany stuff. No one is thinking about like what 20 million, let's say there's 20 million migrants in this country that are undocumented. How exactly are you going to do the mass deportation? You're going to start going into brown neighborhoods with BORTAC, with the American Gestapo, special weapons and tactics for the Customs and Border Patrol, in what the ACLU calls Constitution-free zones, and you're going to start doing door knocking operations and cast a dragnet over brown communities, and then put them in CCOT style, like in El Salvador, like mass detention centers, mass deportation facilities. You're going to put them in front of one judge, 200 at a time, because this 20.
I need you guys to remember, this was before the election, okay? This is in 2024, August of 2024. August of 2024. Called it down to the location, dude.
20 million people. That's a lot of people, right? You have to make this process as expedient as possible. So now you're putting 200 people at a time in front of a judge that is declaring them to be illegal. Then you have to put them in concentration camps. I mean, that's just straight Nazi Germany stuff. And I don't think anybody's talking about it on those terms, which I find to be abhorrent. I find it to be morally repugnant.
But to have agreement with like neither one of the parties is being reasonable here. It's just everyone's getting dragged over to a place that, like, I mean, what is that? How is it that we've arrived there? Like that is not anyone's idea of America in principle.
I know. And Americans are actually not of one mind on this. Immigration historically is one issue where Americans are like consistently both very sympathetic to migrants on and also very Hitlerian in the same breath. Like these are, if you look at focus groups on immigration, you'll be shocked. Like a person will unironically say, I want mass deportations of all migrants living on U.S. soil. And in the next breath, we'll say something along the lines of, yeah, we should do amnesty actually for everyone that's been here. And it's like, how can you have these two opinions? That's because the Democratic Party is too scared. They refuse to actually have any sort of counter messaging on this front. And they just capitulate the right-wing framing every single time. They did this with the crime panic too. It's completely born out of hysteria. It's straight Hitlerian on the Republican side. And what's happening in America right now is not dissimilar to the rise of Hitler and Nazi Germany, in the sense that like liberals also capitulated to in an effort not to adequately put up a strong fight and align with the communists and align with the trade unionists, align with the socialists against the rise of Nazis and the rise of fascism in Germany. They said, no, this guy is working within the confines of German politics. It's fine. And we all know what happened afterwards. It's called the ratchet effect. The Democrats regularly play the role of almost controlled opposition on a lot of issues, this one being one of them. It's the same with the bipartisan consensus on American foreign policy. This is basically, which I would consider to be fascist in general, but no one really cares about that. And this is fascism inward, like bringing bringing fascism back domestically, having concentration camps for people that don't look like you, that people whose immigration status could be quickly and expediently dealt with and turned into documented U.S. citizens who are already participating in the American economy in incredibly meaningful ways. People who statistically are less likely to do crimes than natural born U.S. citizens. A fact that Democrats should be saying every single day of the week. They should be putting that front and center. It's just completely made up. This hysteria about migrant crime is completely made up. Crime is down. Crime is down in America across the board. Okay. Crime is down. It readjusted back to like the lowest levels that it was at pre-pandemic, right? And it's only going down further and further. So the idea that like
Here's my take from August 2024 on the Dan Le Batard show about the Dems' failure on immigration as they pivoted to the right, what that would look like after a potential Trump victory, and how the ratchet effect works. Because he's still trying to argue with people in the chat, in the replies. Hello, you can literally just type Kamala Harris in his YouTube channel and just find his opinion here. I don't think the accused should have to be the one prove anything if the accuser hasn't even done a modicum of good faith research. This is a video of him saying, I understand the harm reduction argument, but the politician has to earn your vote. Am I missing something? He cites Roe v. Wade overturned as Democrats aren't fixing women's rights. But that would only happen because Hillary didn't win. He's literally describing the Democrats' policy on immigration as the same as the Republicans and displaying a gigantic graphic that says the two-party system is fake. He says, in 2028, Dems will run on mass deportations. The whole video is exactly what my original post was. And he is, I thought maybe this guy was good faith. Okay. But right here, it's very clear that he's not good faith. He's just doing the same thing over and over again. Okay. What I was talking about there is the Democratic Party running on the Trump campaign's 2020 policies, because that's precisely what they were doing in 2024. That's what they were doing. And that is exactly what the problem is. No, that's a D stand. Whatever, dude. I will duke it out with these people until it like, I assume that there's just bad faith. Okay. Maybe they have fans that aren't bad faith and they've just been deluded into thinking that like I represent this like dangerous threat or whatever, and that I'm not making a serious attempt to try and educate people here. But what's best, here's the thing. These guys are bad faith, but they don't actually command a lot of influence over liberal Democrats in general. They are speaking to an increasingly smaller minority within the base of support amongst liberals. Wait, from the description of Renee Good's wound, did she have two to the chest, one to the head? Was she blocked with her forearm? I hear he did the Mozambique drill. You can hear the longer pause in a second and gunshot, two pure psycho shit. I don't know. Wait, hold on. Anyway, my point is, I was right down to the location that they utilized, okay? Here's the thing. What? Okay, good one, chatter. This is what's so frustrating. What is this? Good one. Kill yourself jokes. Ha 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 brain. I love this. Oh, someone's still on welfare. Okay, dude. You guys don't have to deal with every single dumb in the chat that's saying dumb shit like that. I don't want Republicans to win, okay? I don't want Republicans to win. But I also don't want Democrats to turn into Republicans. It's not only bad policy, but it's bad politics in general. Because Democrats turning into Republicans as they try to moderate for this like reasonable voter in the center is an abject failure. And luckily, I don't even have to make this argument that much anymore. When did you say this? You cooked? August 7th, 2024. Dan, let him speak. Fox News would have interrupted him with short, quippy, but rhetorically effective lies, red herrings, and non sequiturs until the American public is... I said it before the DNC. I said it during the DNC. I said it over and over and over again. Still obsessed with you setting up the basketball core background in this interview? No, I was at the courts. In any case, I had to take any opportunity I could to try and educate liberals that this kind of messaging was bad. This kind of messaging was bad and would lead to a failure. But now that failure has come, and therefore a lot of people are also aware that this kind of messaging is bad, and they're looking for something different now. They're looking for something more. So I don't even feel, I feel encouraged. I feel like nowadays, at least liberals recognize that the party lost again, okay? And therefore they're looking for an alternative. They're looking for someone who will actually fight, someone who will actually push back against the Republicans doing all this fuck. So these liberals are actually speaking to a much smaller audience every single day that they do this kind of stuff. Let's continue.
Oh, stop. Jesus. Hey! Stop kneeing him in the face! That's his face! Stop it!
Bro, I swear to God, Kaya
Well,
is
many
like,
of the headlines.
she is trying to have me roll over her tail. I swear to God. Even AIPAC recognizes this reality for Dems. AIPAC knows that funding ICE politically toxic for Dems, and they're using that as a wedge to avoid talking about their policy goal, which is lockstep support for Israel's Gaza policy. All Dems should take note of how their savvy support for ICE funding can be weaponized. You might think you're being clever with some horse shit about body cams and a new SOP, but if some group wants to, they're just going to pluck the top line number and say you're enabling Trump's fascism. The subtext is that it shows you aren't fighting and can't be trusted to follow through on the kinds of big changes needed to reclaim our democracy. That seems to me to be not worth whatever imaginary gains you think triangulation might deliver. Head pats from WAPO pundits. Kaya is clip farming. I know she is. She's clip baiting.
Lines have focused on the Twin Cities. Greater Minnesota is feeling the impacts of the immigration crackdown as well.
WCCO's Frankie McClister headed 2 hours west to Wilmer, where arrests have closed restaurants and left a community on edge.
With a diverse population.
Bro, this was one of the more insane stories about ICE that came out yesterday. They go into a Mexican restaurant and then they come back after hours and arrest the people. They should not be allowed to step foot in a single restaurant in any neighborhood. Okay? They should not be. If you're a business owner, you should tell ICE to off, get the out of your property. Okay? You should call the cops to trespass them. Just trespass them every time, anywhere they go. Run them out of town. No quarters.
For 21,000.
People refusing to come out the house.
Streets appearing to operate as normal, but businesses not.
And they detained someone just across the street from where I was working,
showing they're either closed or taking orders differently.
I've seen with my two eyes, ICE detaining people.
Video here shows ICE activity in the Candy-Ojai County seat. This restaurant, El Tapatio, closed after WCCO confirmed agents visited the Mexican spot for lunch and came back later, detaining its owners and a dishwasher nearby, after they had closed early due to agents' previous appearance.
A 20-year-old who says his parents own the restaurant that are now detained says on Saturday they will reopen under his leadership.
WCCO reached out to DHS for comment on the matter. A visitor who stopped by to show his support says the liquor store he works at has lost about 3/4 of business since agents have appeared in Operation Metro Surge.
just wanted to make sure everything was okay, and apparently it's not because they're closed now.
And for a man who retired from Genio, one of the town's biggest employers.
What do you want for your community right now? What's the future? What do you think Wilmer's
get together and vote these people out? We're not scared, man.
In Wilmer, Frankie McClister, WCCO News.
Wilmer's mayor urged residents to stay calm and
Why are they coming at this from the perspective of its effect on business? Okay, first of all, it's local news, so obviously they love small businesses. And secondly, it's still up. Even if you're a small business owner and ICE comes in and arrests you, what are you talking about? What the are we talking about, dude? It is completely ridiculous. Come on now. This is anti-ICE commentary. It's anti-ICE commentary from a perspective that actually, people understand and care about.
respect one another to keep the community safe.
Like, we was trapped. Anyway, I couldn't go forward, pulling off, couldn't go backwards. Like, it was no.
Oh yeah, this is the dad who ICE brutalized his 6-month-old baby. They gassed this neighborhood, and while he was trying to get his 6-month-old baby, they gassed his baby. Excuse me? No, excuse ICE.
Nothing I could have did to get out that situation at the time.
A family was caught in the crossfire between ICE agents and protesters
dude.
in North Minneapolis. Reg Chapman sat down with a couple and their 6 children who were trapped inside their vehicle when tear gas exploded underneath.
Sean and Destiny Jackson, their 11 and 7-year-olds, 4-year-old twins and 6-month-old baby boy were on their way home from basketball practice when they were caught between protesters and ICE agents.
They stopped at my car and they proceeded to yell in it and said, get out of here. Well, they used profanity. And my husband screamed and said, we're trying.
The couple stayed calm. They say ICE agents ramped up their demands.
They said it again and we said, we're trying if you guys will move. And of course, like everybody's seeing what happened with Renee, what I'm saying, we weren't gonna pull off and why they were right there because that's what we were trying to avoid.
Destiny says the agents walked to the back of their vehicle and released a canister of tear gas under their vehicle.
Within seconds, there was a big boom and our car was up in the air and we slammed down and all of our airbags deployed and all of our doors locked. And tear gas just started forming, a ball of gas just started forming around the car.
She says panic set in.
I managed to feel around and open up I unlocked everybody's door and I hopped out and I just started pulling as many kids as I could out.
Bystanders stepped up. Destiny says she was taken inside a house nearby and total strangers began helping her children out of the smoke-filled vehicle.
The last person to get out the car was my infant child. And then when he came in, he was lifeless, it was foam or bubbles coming out of his mouth. I had to give him mouth-to-mouth and CPR. I couldn't even breathe myself. And all I remember is between every breath I was saying, I'm gonna give you every breath I have until you get yours back.
The couple has been together since their days at North High School. Sean was coached by Minneapolis and Metro Transit police officers, has respect for law enforcement. Now their lives forever changed by ICE agents and a canister of tear gas.
It's like they didn't have no care in the world for us, so.
And the windows was down. You can see my kids in the car. The lights were on in the car.
With photojournalist Tony Peterson, Reg Chapman, WCCO News.
Parents say that the children are traumatized.
Animals, dude. What do you do? What do you do? How do Roach fans defend this one? What do you mean? They don't either cover this kind of shit at all on the Roach side of things, or when they do, they go, yeah, based, okay? Because they were in opposition. Around and find out. Around and find out. And what they're doing in terms of around is just being in the vicinity of these lawless animals, okay? They want more of this stuff to happen because they feel like it'll never happen to them, okay? And until it happens to them, they will not understand what the is going on. They don't have the capacity to feel empathy for other people. This is a major driver, right-wing policy. As Matt Christmas says, the dual sadism of American politics, where it's all about just harming the other, okay? Harming your